Welcome to Girl About the Globe, a podcast for you, the solo female traveller, empowering women to travel solo with maximum adventure, minimum impact. Hi, this is Girl About the Globe, and I'm joined by the wonderful Dr Christina Tarantola, who's a pharmacist, a healer and an author. And today she's going to share her advice on ways to balance your mind, body and soul when you travel solo. Hi Christina, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm saying hi to you all the way from New York City. I'm in Brooklyn right now.
Yes. So in your book, because you've written a book called Revealing Your Inner Radiance, you write that each of us, regardless of our situation, is in search of our most authentic, vital, generous and wise self. I truly believe that that's actually echoed when you travel solo because you seek new experiences and you also grow as an individual as well. So can you explain a bit more about what you mean by each of us is in search of our most authentic self?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And it's really about the whole crux of my book. Revealing Your Inner Radiance is really about this idea that all of us have an inner radiance or a core essence that can never be broken, can never be taken away. And what happens as we grow is, even from up until the time that we're 6 years old, we get imprinted by the beliefs of our family members, by society, by our friends, even on the playground. As little as 6 years old, we have all of these different thoughts about ourselves. And so it goes from there, from six, onwards, we start to construct these beliefs about who we are. And that really crowds that core essence or that radiance that I speak about. And so what happens is we tend to limit what we think that we can do in the world, when in reality we always have that core that is that divine spark, that we have infinite potential to do whatever we want, to be whoever we want. But somewhere along the way we might have gotten beliefs or absorbed certain energies from, like I said, parents, our relatives, maybe people in school. So really, healing to me and balancing the mind, body and spirit is truly coming back home to that core essence of who you are, which everyone has. And I believe that everyone can and does have that infinite potential to, get out there in the world and, do what they're meant to do here on this earth. So yeah, that's what I really believe.
I believe that that's a really huge roadblock as well for a lot of people thinking about travelling solo, because they might not think that they can actually do it by themselves, or family members have told them that they're not able to do it. They might be at an age where it's not really seen as acceptable to just go off and go travelling for a few months, and society might even put pressure on you to do something different and not follow your dreams or follow your path.
Yeah, thank you. And I definitely agree with what you're saying too, is like, people, especially, for women, this, women solo travelers, I've heard a lot of people, even when I was going to Bali, everybody was so concerned and, giving me their words of wisdom. And, it's really about following that intuition. If you have a desire to travel somewhere, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe it's that you want to discover that inner part of yourself that is normally clouded by the rest of the world, the opinions of other people. And so I really can appreciate traveling solo because I've done it so many times, and you have too. It's such an inspiration to see you hitting that 100 country mark. I was so happy to see that today.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I think that everybody has their own reason for traveling, but I think that going back to the limiting belief theory is that, it's all just a fear. Sometimes there are fears that block you from creating what you want, but with the help of someone like you, someone that can actually, coach and guide this person along this amazing journey, then everything's going to work out.
So, how important do you think it is to look after yourself with your mind, body, and spirit, especially when you're traveling solo, when you spend hours and hours by yourself and you face situations that you might not have found yourself in before, and you're tested and challenged? How important is it, do you think, to look after your nutrition, your health, your mental state of mind?
Oh, wow. I mean, from a scale of 0 to 10, I would say a 10 is most important because, even for example, someone in Bali didn't properly hydrate and she wound up getting numbness in her extremities, and we all thought that it might have been a stroke, but you really, even something as simple as hydrating and drinking enough water, super important, especially if you are traveling solo, because yeah, you might meet people along the way, but really you have to take care and nourish your body with adequate nutrition, the right amount of liquids and fluids, always making sure that you have some kind of snack or drink with you, and that's just like the bare bones, the basics. So really, preparing yourself is the number one thing, I would think, um, to preventing any kind of illness, making sure you have your vaccines and any type of antibiotics if you're in that kind of area that you might contract something like E. coli and might need something like that. So construct a list, make sure that you have everything you need in order to prevent any type of, like I said, illness or dehydration, especially being out in a country where you might not know exactly where the nearest hospital or doctor's office is. So I would say definitely very important to keep the physical body in shape, but also mentally too. Even making sure that you do have a support system. Maybe even keeping a journal would be great to document your journey and see new insights about what you're learning about yourself. So, yeah, definitely very important.
Great. And I know you just touched on health then as well, which is especially important if you're traveling to somewhere or traveling to a country which is less developed than what you might be used to. Because I know that in the past I've actually
Mm-hmm.
contracted quite a few bacterial infections and parasites, and even if you're really careful, you can still pick up certain viruses. So, do you have any advice for people regarding food and drink, or is there anything they can take beforehand to prevent themselves or build up their immune system to be healthier?
Immunity. Yeah, there's definitely a couple of things that I want to touch upon. So keeping your immunity high is the optimal outcome. And like I mentioned before, a couple of the things is to have, make sure that your body is adequately hydrated and nourished with proper food, but also, supplementation. If you normally take vitamins, whatever it is for you, B complex, magnesium, um, there are different, like, green tea, some people take for antioxidant
Mm.
health. And then also making sure that you have your vaccines. You're trying to prevent any type of bacteria, like you said, from getting into your body. But the way to know which antibiotic you'll have to take or which vaccine is obviously to go to the doctor. They can look on the CDC websites, the Center for Disease Control, and it actually, if you go online, there's a chart where you can see, depending on the country, the specific region to that country, you can see which things you might need. So it's twofold. It's maintaining your own immunity and then also seeking out any type of preventative care before you go on the trip.
Okay. And talking about preventative care, what would you say or what would you suggest to people who might suffer from travel sickness? Because taking overnight buses or train journeys or flights, that in itself can take quite a toll on the body if you suffer from the motion sickness.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are essential oils you can use. There is a C-band that you can actually, it goes on a pressure point and you wear it as a wristband to prevent motion sickness. Of course, there are the prescription therapies, like if you have some kind of stomach upset, Pepto-Bismol or Imodium. Although if you do have a bacterial infection, sometimes doctors will shy away from giving any of those remedies because it actually can keep the bacteria inside of you instead of eliminating it. So, but those things, Pepto-Bismol and Imodium, are definitely things you should be bringing anyway, just in case, you have some kind of stomach upset. And of course, things like Advil if you have a pain, or maybe even an ice pack, like an instant ice pack. If you get maybe, hopefully you don't get stung by a bee, but you can always apply it to the area. Or if you sprain an ankle, I mean, you want to try to be as prepared as possible. So
Yeah, and also because I used to suffer from travel sickness a lot, and I know that ginger, even drinking ginger ale or apples, are actually quite good for seasickness. It doesn't prevent it, but it does help make you feel better. Would you suggest anything like that?
oh, absolutely. And there are even essential oils that can help to kind of, quell that motion sickness. So ginger, tarragon. There's actually a blend that I work with called Digize, which has a whole bunch of different. It's a blend of essential oils that, with fennel, and I mentioned the ginger and tarragon. They help to kind of quiet down the stomach, and it's a natural remedy. So
Okay.
definitely, I agree with you on the ginger, 100%.
Okay, so I guess you can also get them in tea bags as well. If you can't get your hands on the essential oils before you go, you can also
Right.
buy the tea bags, can you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you're moving around quite a lot and traveling quite fast, it's difficult to get a good night's sleep when you're in different beds all the time. How important do you think getting 8 hours sleep a night is? And is 8 hours the recommended amount?
Well, usually the recommended amount is about 7 to 9. However, everyone everyone's body is different, and so I can't prescribe one
Mm,
thing for any one person. But I will say that because you are exerting yourself and traveling around and maybe walking or hiking, seeing different areas, you want to make sure that you are getting enough sleep, and good quality sleep as best as you can. Even maybe bringing earplugs
yep.
or something that you can block out the noise, because sometimes people stay in hostels, and that could be a vulnerability for people getting up in the middle of the night. So having earplugs, again, with lavender, you could use lavender oil, or burn incense if you have it, which helps to relax the body, calm the mind. So yeah, I mean, those things can definitely help to enhance the quality of sleep. And also, there is a supplement called melatonin, which can be used to regulate your circadian rhythm again. Like, say you're going from New York to Paris, that's a good 3 to 6 hour difference. I don't know the difference in the time, but your body has to reacclimate to being on that sleep schedule again. So melatonin is a great supplement to take, to recalibrate your body.
And how important do you think is what you're putting in your body when you're away? Because I know when you're at home, it's really easy to get into a healthy eating routine because you've got access to whatever food you want, really. But then when you're traveling, and especially if you're traveling on a budget and you're trying to, or you're trying local foods and street food and things like that, is there anything you can take with you to help keep nutrition up?
So I don't know the exact recipe, but I have heard about using like a very diluted amount of Clorox on like fresh fruits, for example, because you want to make sure that you're not consuming any type of foreign bacteria that might have landed on the fruit, after it was picked. So I know that there have been some really great evidence to using some of this kind of very dilute Clorox solution. If you want to eat some of the local food, as long as you're really making sure that you're cleaning the outside of the fruit, then that would be something that is an option.
And I know in the past you've taken super packs of superfoods with you, haven't you? So you've taken, is it cranberries, nuts?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. I love, because whenever you're in a pickle or in a bind, it's especially if you have like a little trail mix bags, it's so easy to just have something that's prepackaged that is safe and you can carry with you. I know Trader Joe's has a lot of those little snack packs that you can bring on the trip with you, and those are really helpful and they're healthy.
Okay, I'd say for people in England as well, I think you can also find things like that in Boots. And I know that I always travel with breakfast bars and nuts. And
Hmm.
if you ever get caught out, then that it's also a really good it's a really good source of energy as well, isn't it? If you're feeling a bit fatigued, it's nuts are great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because nuts are a fat, so it provides more calories per gram as opposed to a carbohydrate or a protein. So it actually allows you to sustain your energy over a longer period of time. So, yeah, nuts are great for that.
And moving on to fitness, how would you say that you can try and maintain your fitness levels when you're away, or do you have any recommendations for how often you should be training or what you can do?
I mean, the recommended amount for any adult is usually about a half hour most days of the week, so that would be 5 days a week, but really I would listen to your body, and if you need to rest and if you feel fatigued, then don't push it. But if you feel like you want to go out for a hike, or say there's some kind of yoga class that's available to you, then by all means do it. Try to move your body as much as you can, and enjoy the sights, enjoy wherever you are, because you might never be there again. So soak it up, and take breaks when you need to. Just, try to listen to your body. That's what I would really recommend.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think a lot of people wouldn't realize how much stress travel can put on your body. So it's if you are feeling fatigued, it's a good idea just to take a bit of a step back and just go out for a brisk walk and not worry about having to go for a run or anything like that. But like you say, just going out and just taking it all in. So that moves nicely onto the next section actually, which is all about your mind
Hmm.
and looking after your mind. So that ties in with just being in the moment, because I think a lot of us forget to do that, and we're always thinking about the next day or that evening or things we've got to do. So I just wanted to get your advice on how you can look after your mind when you're alone.
That's so great that you said that. There's always this balance of like doing and being, and yeah, when you travel, like you said before, you put so much stress on your body, and it doesn't even matter if it's not that far away. The simple act of being in a different time zone can put some more stress than normal on your body. So what I would recommend is to, at least for 10 to 15 minutes a day, I would meditate. And if you're not used to meditating, it's very simple. You can, if you have access to Wi-Fi or the internet, you can go on YouTube and Google a simple guided meditation, just to make sure that you're relaxing your body, you're being in the moment, and you're giving your body that time to decompress after such travel and whatever else you might be doing during the day. So you can either meditate in the morning, at night, you can do it multiple times throughout the day, but I would at least suggest to do it for about 10 to 15 minutes once a day, just to decompress and to refocus on, and just to be grateful for whatever it is that you are traveling, wherever you're traveling, and whatever the reason was that you took the trip in the first place.
Yep. Something that I've managed to do as well, because I've stayed in a lot of hostels and I felt a bit not embarrassed, but it's yeah, I guess I've felt a bit embarrassed about wanting to sit in a lotus position and do my meditation in the morning and the evening with other people in the room. So the way around that is I've just laid on my bed and just listened to the meditation, listened to the music and practice my breathing. And also when you're out walking as well, you can still do the same, can't you? You can do like a walking meditation. Yeah, or
Mm.
even sat on a plane or bus or train, you can just listen to your meditation music and just do the breathing as well. So you don't have to get into a full lotus position if you're feeling a bit awkward about other people looking at you and thinking that you might look a bit odd. But
That's great advice.
saying that there are certain hostels that you can stay in which do yoga. So if places do have yoga halls, then it's perfectly fine just to go in there and just meditate anyway.
That's great. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who might be suffering a bit from anxiety and they're a bit scared about going away by themselves and the situation comes up and they're feeling a bit challenged and they're starting to feel the heart palpitations and the sweats and they're unsure about what to do?
Right. So at that point, it's always having some kind of support, knowing that you have someone that you can call. And if you're the type of person that likes to talk things through and just say, listen, I just need someone to hear me out and to, talk this through, talk this over with. Or if you're a person that needs to be alone and just meditate and breathe deeply, it really depends on what you feel you need in that type of situation, because some people like to talk about it and other people would rather just be alone and try to figure out, okay, how can I process through this. It depends on really the person, I would say.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, having a really good support network, that's vital if you're feeling homesick as well. And it's so easy to Skype nowadays and just be online within minutes. And there's Wi-Fi practically everywhere, even in countries that you wouldn't expect there to be Wi-Fi in. So it's really easy to connect with people from home. And I personally think that if you're feeling lonely or homesick or verging on a bit depressed, then it's good to connect with others and just get that human connection again.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. Facebook, social media. I mean, like you said, Skype, all great avenues to, reinforce that connection again. Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for joining me today, Christina.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I'll include all the tips and the advice that you gave along with this video as well. So thank you so much, and I wish you every success in the future.
Oh, thank you.
And you can find out more about Christina at her website, Enlightened Wellness Solutions. Go to www.enlightenedwellnessspa.com. Thanks for listening to our Girl About the Globe podcast, making solo travel easier for you. Find everything that you need for your solo travels at girlabouttheglobe.com, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode.